Welcome to the Beyond Barriers podcast. If you're an ambitious woman who wants to dominate your career, then you are in the right place. This podcast is co-hosted by Nikki Barua, digital innovator, serial entrepreneur, author, and speaker, and Monica Marquez, ex-Googler, diversity expert, and senior corporate leader. From inspiring stories to cutting-edge strategies, you'll learn how to develop the skill set, mindset, and tool set to get future-ready fast and accelerate your success. Welcome to the Beyond Barriers Habits and Hacks Show. How do you fill your time? Do you invest it or spend it? Are you always stretched for time, or do you feel a flow every day? In today's episode, we'll share a different perspective about time and why it's not about time at all. So let's start by discussing why we obsess about time so much.
Well, we've been conditioned to associate productivity and time efficiency with success. You know, you hear things like time is money.
Yes.
You can't waste time. So there's so much association of success and time. But you have to ask yourself, is it really? The truth is you can be really, really productive and time efficient, but be focusing on all the wrong things and never really be that successful.
Exactly.
You know, personally, I've struggled with this idea of time quite a bit. I've obsessed about to-do lists, and I've accounted for every minute of my time of the day. And then I felt guilty when I wasn't using time efficiently. And all that did was make me really anxious and stressed about deadlines that in the grand scheme of things really didn't matter that much. What I realized ultimately is that being busy and filling every minute of your day doesn't really translate into creating impact. When I learned to let go of managing time and instead learn to manage energy and experience, that's when it really changed my outcomes.
That's extremely interesting. So tell us more about it. What do you mean exactly by managing energy?
Well, if you think about how you feel each day, it really comes down to how your energy feels each day. You know, days when you're really pumped up, it's going to feel like a great day. Days when you're feeling a lot of lethargy and you're just feeling down, it's not going to feel like a great day.
Right.
So if you want to get more done and do it faster, chances are if you're excited about something and you're looking forward to it and you're totally immersed in it, you're just going to achieve more. On the flip side, if there's something you don't want to do and you just have a lot of negative emotions and energy attached to it, then chances are you're going to procrastinate. And even when you do get started, you're going to hate the experience and just take way too long. So, you know, if you think about it that way, it's really not about the allocation of time, but the alignment of your energy to what you're really seeking to do.
That makes total sense.
And, you know, one thing to think about is we all have the same 24 hours in a day. Everyone has the same amount of time. So why is it that some people are able to achieve so much and accomplish so much in the same amount of time while others can barely get through their day? And it's, you know, it's easy to say, oh my gosh, this is so important to me. I just don't have the time to get to it. Or, yeah, I've been meaning to do this, but I just haven't had time.
Right.
You hear those excuses so often, you know, like we all make them to say, yeah, I need to work out. I know it's good for my health. I just don't have enough time.
Right.
And, you know, before we blame life circumstance or think that somebody else is more privileged, you know, I think we should just suspend judgment and consider an alternative. What if the answer lies in what the successful people focus on rather than how they manage their time?
Right.
What if you could have the same kind of outcome by doing the same and experience real freedom from your task list and actually feel a greater sense of accomplishment?
That sounds absolutely amazing. I mean, I know that I struggle with that every single day. So what's the secret? How do you do that where you can leverage and maximize the 24 hours in a day?
Yeah, I think part of it is freeing yourself from the tyranny of time. Instead of thinking about, you know, how do I maximize the 24 hours, think about what do you really want to feel and what do you want to create that day. And then time doesn't matter. I mean, think about a moment in your life where you were just enjoying something so much. You lost all sense of time. Maybe it's playing, maybe it's making music, maybe it's painting something, and you just completely lost track of time.
Right.
Time really doesn't matter. It matters only when we're trying to do something that isn't joyful.
Right.
So the practice really comes down to thinking differently about the 24 hours instead of it being about how can you squeeze all these unjoyful things that are painful and not fun, and telling yourself that somehow that's good for you. Shift your thinking about it. Okay. So here are some ways that you can do that. I'm going to share with you 10 specific things that will help you sort of break through the tyranny of time. So number one, make a list of everything you need to accomplish in a week, or you think you need to accomplish in a week. And then instead of making it a to-do list, make it a to-don't list.
Well, wait a minute. Okay, so how does that work?
So list out everything, but when you go back to that list and look at it, ask yourself for every single item on that list, do you really need to do that? What's the worst that's going to happen if you don't do it? What if it wasn't done? Is it really necessary? I think too often we give more value to things that are really not that valuable. So stop making to-do lists, make to-don't lists. If it makes you feel better to document everything, go ahead and list it out and then scratch it off.
Right.
Tell yourself what you're not going to do. Then number two is focus only on the top 1, 2, or 3 important priorities and ignore everything else. Find the things that really make a difference, that are going to move your life forward, that'll allow you to create impact and give you joy. Things that you know are important, you know in your heart that those are the most important things to do in your life or your career or for your family, and just pick those. Ignore everything else. And if you really ask yourself what that is, if you stepped outside of the obligation of doing your task list and you ask yourself, you will know what the answer to those top priorities are.
No, that's very true.
Number 3, know your reason for why those priorities matter. Even when you pick your top 2 or 3 items, don't just pick those and stop at it. Ask yourself, are these really important? And if so, why? Know your reasons, because if your reasons are strong, then stick to those priorities. If your reasons are weak, you might want to challenge yourself and replace or remove those priorities. So know your reasons why you're doing what you're doing. Often we go through this feeling of being the motion of activity without even knowing why we're really chasing that activity, why we're filling our time with it.
Do you want to grow your impact as a change agent who ignites transformation in others, but you don't have a proven step-by-step method? Do you want to grow your visibility and influence as a thought leader to inspire others, but you don't know where to begin? The Beyond Barriers High Performance Executive Coach Certification is designed for experienced leaders who want to grow their impact and influence. Join this exclusive community of high achievers, advance your career as a leader, and experience the joy of helping others grow. Go to IamBeyondBarriers.com and register for the webinar to learn more.
Number 4, align the time of day to suit the activity. So if you're someone who writes best late at night, then do it. You don't have to be someone who is following convention where a lot of writers will talk about, I wake up at 4 a.m. and write in the mornings. Do the activity whenever it suits you best. For some people, they're more productive in the mornings, some are more productive in the evening, some in the middle of the day, whatever works for you. Weekdays, weekends, it doesn't matter. Find the most important things you need to get done and pick the time of day that is best aligned to your highest energy for that activity. So for every activity, there's a certain kind of energy needed. Think about when that is at peak state for you and pick that time. Number 5, group related things together and then block off time on your calendar to focus on those things. So a lot of times there might be things that are perhaps not the biggest priority, but they just need to get done on a daily basis, right? So whether it's, doing household chores, or maybe it's running errands and things like that, group related things as much as possible, and block off time when you can do that. The reason for that is when you have a block of time and there's a related group of activities, you'll actually accomplish more by doing that when you start to see where you can optimize bits of time to say, you know what, I have to go drive 30 minutes to go pick up something, but on that drive, I can make this phone call, or I can listen to an audiobook that I've been meaning to listen to. So you're able to accomplish things where you can group related things and use that block of time to achieve it.
Okay.
Number 6, don't ever multitask. One of the biggest myths is that multitasking is somehow increasing productivity, and it's really not. All it does is, sap your energy, your focus, and actually makes you slower, because every time we switch from tasks, it takes close to 20 minutes to get your focus back to the original thing. So multitasking, if you think you can, work on a research paper while you're going through your email, it's just not an effective way to do that. So block off chunks of time to go really deep and focus into one thing. And then when you're at a stopping point, take a quick break and then switch to something else after that. Number 7, delegate or outsource any of the tasks that don't give you joy. And I know this might sound controversial, because you might think, well, I don't have anyone to delegate to. I don't really have people that report to me, or I don't have the money to outsource it to anyone else. But think again, if whatever your hourly rate is in terms of, your salary income or whatever that might be, if something is costs less to get it done by someone else, and it's not something that gives you joy, you will release more of that stress and the frustration of doing something you don't like, and be able to dedicate time to something that actually gives you better returns. So don't hesitate to delegate or outsource, and get creative about this. You could barter with a friend or a neighbor, or a colleague that might be willing to do something that you don't like, if you can switch and do something for them. So get creative about how you can delegate or outsource. Number 8, take action daily, even if it's just a little bit, because the more you procrastinate, the more things pile up, and the harder it becomes to get moving and accomplish things. And then you start to feel the real pressure of time, because all you feel is anxiety about time. And now you have less time to get something done. So take daily action, even a little bit every day, that gives you a sense of momentum. Number 9, say no more often. Don't be so quick to say yes to things, whether it's someone asking you for a favor, or someone inviting you to something you really don't want to go to. Be the guardian of your own time. If there's something that isn't joyful and isn't aligned with your priorities, just say no. And I think the most successful people, one of the things that they get really good at is saying no. So
that's hard.
It is hard, but it is discipline of saying no. Because what you're doing is, when you say no to something that isn't right for you, you're saying yes to what is truly great for you. So you have to make space for that by saying no. And then finally, number 10, give yourself grace. Don't wait for a weekend or for retirement to enjoy time daily. Like, enjoy the downtime, and do things that are joyful to you on a daily basis. And you'll make every single day count, and your energy will be a lot higher.
That's fantastic. I think these are all really, really great. One of my favorites is the to don't list, because I run into the habit of, I'll make a list with 30 different things and then beat myself up because I only got 4 or 5 of them done. But if I would have gone through that list and marked out the things that I'm not going to do, then it would have given me more of a sense of accomplishment. I would have focused on the right things.
You're exactly right. I think we get overzealous of adding everything to our task list. And then first of all, when we finish that task list and there's 30 things on it, it's overwhelming. And you start looking at that list thinking, how on earth am I going to get this done? So you then start to procrastinate because it's overwhelming.
Exactly.
And it's not the most exciting feeling to look at a mountain of tasks and get started on it. And then even when we work really hard and do our best and we haven't finished all 30 things, you don't have a sense of accomplishment. And that's a terrible way to end each day.
Right. Absolutely. Well, there you have it, everyone. We spend more time doing things that don't give us joy in the misguided belief that we are achieving more. So most Americans work over 45 hours a week. And of that 45 hours, 36% of that time is spent on email. Just remember, research shows that happiness makes people more productive. So choose joy, manage your energy and emotion, and invest your time in things that deliver the most value. Have a great week. Thank you for listening to the Beyond Barriers podcast. There are thousands of podcasts out there, and we are so grateful that you've chosen to listen to ours. If you enjoyed the show, please tell a friend about it and subscribe to get new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Visit IamBeyondBarriers.com, where you'll find show notes and links to all resources for each show, including the best way to connect with our guests. See you next episode.